house is burning and my car is right in front of that house.
That's gonna be crazy. You're gonna be okay, Milo.
This is the electrical that lit up in flames. So that's my husband in the passenger seat because he kept getting in and out to hose down small fires.
Oh my gosh, it's gonna fall on us. Okay, come inside.
I mean, it was just heartbreaking seeing our community, my neighbors, like lots of elderly people. Trying to make it down the stairs just to get into their car. Oh, Lahaina's home. I'm still homesick. I will always have a place in my heart for Lahaina.
Hey YouTube world, Harvest is plenty. I hope all is well. Thanks for stopping by and checking out the video. Please click the thumbs up button for me. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and just click the subscribe button as well. That way you can be notified when new videos pop up on the channel. So Hawaii, the beautiful island of Hawaii and the island of Maui. Wow, utter devastation. I am really sorry for the losses that occurred to the people of Lahaina and on the island of Maui. You know, people lost their lives, they lost their homes, they lost their apartments, their condos, they lost pets, they lost loved ones, they lost their possessions. So my heart goes out to the residents of Maui and Lahaina. Really sorry that occurred. But as I continue to watch the news pour in about that, and I read a couple articles, I was like, man, we could get some lessons from this. So that's the reason why I decided to put up this video. But first, let me read this article to you guys from USA Today. The title is "What Went Wrong in Maui? As Cataclysmic Fires Grew, Many Heard No Warnings." Now, something that I've constantly said before in my videos is that we will not get any warnings. I know a lot of people expect warnings from government officials, city officials, whatever. They think is going to be some type of warning that comes from the news. Well, no warnings in Maui. If you're waiting on a warning, you might find yourself behind an 8-ball. So just something to keep in mind. So the article says Hawaii State Senator Angus McKelvey started hearing explosions in Lahaina as he was running errands. Many times I said we may be going to work, coming from work, running errands, on vacation, and poof, out of nowhere, a disaster hits. And we're going to be where we're going to be, and we're going to have what we're going to have. The article says hours later, he said he could see burning embers raining down from the sky and several homes on fire as he drove to his brother's house to check on the family pets. A nearby apartment building stood engulfed by large balls of fire, and by the time he returned home, flames were lighting up his condo as well. So he came home and his condo was on fire. It goes on to say, as the destruction spread, McKelvey never heard emergency sirens or alarms. He didn't see police overseeing evacuations. Like other residents trying to flee the area, he said he was uncertain about what to do next. And so, guys, there was no police to oversee the evacuations. And something I always said, that during a catastrophic disaster, a major grid down, or as they say in Maui, it was a cataclysmic event, local law enforcement will be busy protecting their own family and trying to get them to safety and try to save their possessions in their homes. And so police is not there all the time to help you or protect you. That brings us to my first thing I want to talk about, is that you are your own first responder. You guys must internalize that. You know, sometimes you got to stop looking for people to come and help you. You have to help yourself, help your family. You're your own first responder. I've said that a number of times across all the YouTube channels I've ever had. You are your first responder. Now, it'd be great if the cavalry comes in and help you. If law enforcement show up, the fire department, Coast Guard, the neighbors, everybody that you went to high school with, everybody show up. Everybody you went to grade school with show up and say, hey, we're going to help you and your family. I'll help you. That'll be great. But a lot of times during these major catastrophic events, you're your own first responder. Another thing, cell phone towers went down. The internet wasn't working. There was no communication. And so there's no way to reach out to your loved ones to tell them that you're okay, or to call for emergency help. And so, again, goes back to you're your own first responder, but also do you have a communications plan in place for yourself, for your family, for your loved ones? What if you can't reach somebody by phone? Do you guys have a rendezvous point to say, hey, if it's major disaster and I can't reach you by phone, you know, we are going to meet at the 7-Eleven, in the parking lot at the 7-Eleven. Are we going to go to the church and we're going to meet there? Or, you know, there's a big old auto zone. We're going to meet there. Are we going to go and meet at Chick-fil-A in the parking lot? You know, find a spot for yourself and your family, and say, hey, if there's no communications, everything's down, you're not home, I'm not home, and we're trying to meet up, we're going to go here. And if it's a raging fire or someplace, and if that place is damaged, here's our backup location. We're going to meet there. That way you know that if there's no communication, you know your family is going to some particular place. Next thing, medical training. Do you have any medical training underneath your belt? I'm sure there were some people that were injured that maybe suffered minor burns, maybe, you know, severe burns. I don't know. People who probably, you know, had heart attacks, smoke inhalation, all kind of issues, probably got injured trying to run away from the wildfire, trying to escape. If you are there or you're close by, you know, maybe if you have any medical training, you could help somebody, maybe even help yourself. So if you don't have any medical training, maybe I would say start with basic first aid, CPR, and AED course. You could probably find it online at the Red Cross in your area. Sometimes the fire departments run those type of training. So just look online for in your area to see if there's any type of first aid training or anything like that. Next, when it comes to medical training, do you have the tools to get the job done? So if you have the medical training, do you have any supplies or the tools? In this case, for them, they needed fire extinguishers. But do you have first aid kit? Do you have gauze, bandages, you know, things like that, tourniquets? If you don't have those things, you know, might want to decide to get those things. I know in every vehicle that I have or that my family have, we keep a fire extinguisher and we keep first aid kits in the trunks of the car. So that's something to think about. Evacuation routes. Think about evacuation routes. How will you get from the danger zone to safety? You know, do you have any evacuation routes in your area that you don't know about? You know, what about the back roads? Are you familiar with back roads and other areas of egress to get to where you need to get to? Last but not least, I would say physical fitness. Are you physically fit and prepared for a disaster? I know one thing, in disaster zones and things like that, stress is very high, and the more physically fit you are, the more stress you can handle. Also, what if you have to run down a flight of stairs to safety? Or what if you have to run up a flight of stairs to grab somebody who was handicapped or some elderly person who couldn't make it down? And you know the fire is coming or water is rising or whatever the disaster is, you got to get them and hurry up and get back down and get out. Are you physically fit and physically capable of doing that? What if you have to climb a chain link fence or jump over a wooden fence to get to safety? You've seen some of the people, they had to run out and jump in the water to keep from getting burnt up by the fire. What if you have to run, say, 400 yards, you know, flat out sprint 400 yards to get in the water? Could you do it? Or would you have to stop? What if you have to walk a mile, or 2 miles, or 3 miles to get to safety? Are you physically able or capable of doing that? Or what if you have to walk that long distance and carry somebody along because they were injured and they couldn't walk? So just some things to think about, guys. I will, do another video coming up next, I guess, on medical training. I'll talk about some of the things that I did and some of the tools I have underneath my belt and some of the things that you could also look into as well. Again, my heart goes out to the people in the state of Hawaii, for the island of Maui and Lahaina. Sorry for your loss. All right, guys, that's all I have for you. Until my next video, God bless to you and your family. Take care.
Hawaii is America's paradise, but today a Category 4 hurricane fueled raging wildfires on the island of Maui. As Les Trent reports, those fires are so intense, they've not only overwhelmed local firefighters, some residents had to jump in the ocean to escape the flames.
It's hell on earth. Raging fires on the Hawaiian island paradise of Maui, a major destination for honeymooners. Scenes from the island are described as apocalyptic. The lieutenant governor says the hospitals are overburdened with burn patients.
911 is down, cell service is down, phone service is down.
My gallery likely is destroyed.
I spoke to antique dealer Alan Dakar, who shot this extraordinary video of businesses going up in flames in the town of Lahaina.
There's a lot of people in the community that have it a lot worse.
Lahaina resident Mandy Ellen, who is visiting Las Vegas, spent a stressful night worrying about her family on Maui. They're fine, but her home was destroyed.
The fire started coming in from both directions, and it was either they had to leave or they would die.
The fires are being driven by 80-mile-an-hour gusts from Hurricane Dora south of the Hawaiian Islands. Victims jumped into the ocean to escape the flames and smoke.
And back to the fires, Lahaina is totally gone. That's what a longtime resident tells us after she fled her home and lost everything in the fire. KITV4's Diana Coe has her story, and this is new at 9.
I own nothing. I have the clothes on my back and my car, and that is it.
Fina Davis gathered her family of 8 and fled to a family home in Kahana on Tuesday.
We decided to go ahead and evacuate out of Lahaina. My niece, whose father is one of the firefighters, and through family, let us know that we need to leave Lahaina because they were running out of water.
They self-evacuated.
We didn't get the evacuation alarms until 8 p.m. The fire started around 3:30. It reached my house on the ocean side of Lahaina, Front Street, by 5 p.m. was when there was so much smoke we had to evacuate.
Davis lived in Lahaina for 20 years, and this is the worst disaster she's seen there or anywhere.
In my life, anywhere. There's nothing like it. There isn't a Lahaina left. There's no Lahaina Harbor. There's no Mala Wharf. Every restaurant is burned. All the neighborhoods, like the Jodo Mission, all those homes on Front Street are completely burned to the ground.
With phone and internet lines down, she's had to work to assure her loved ones on the mainland she's okay.
How are people finding out about their loved ones?
They're not. And so we drove up this morning all the way up to the coffee farms above Kapalua, to the very, very top of the coffee farms, and we were able to get phone service.
She is in shock and describes a range of emotions in the people around her.
Some people are emotional, but others are just they're confused. A lot of people don't know what to do. They needed more direction, people to help them navigate the situation.
Now she's worried about her friends on the northern end of Lahaina.
There are still people there. I mean, I'm lucky that I had gas. A lot of my friends can't leave because they don't have gas. They're in Kanapali, which is, feels a little safer since the fire department is confident that they're going to be able to hold the fire back to that point.
She says all she can do now is pray.